This video is for OCR GCSE Business Studies and for techniques on how to evaluate. So evaluation in OCR is the AO3B skill, and there are always 3 marks available for it. So the 3 types of questions differing in marks for it include the 3-mark recommendation, the 7-mark evaluation, and also the 9-mark evaluation, but sometimes it does use the command term discuss. So firstly, if we consider the 3-mark recommend, you'll have already completed the analyse part of this text in your previous 2 questions, so now you have to make your decision. So it's almost kind of like broken down to 3 questions, and the 3rd question is that recommendation. So if you consider the examples of how it's been previously assessed, there's always a choice to make. For example, should you acquire or merge? Should you sell assets or take on a new partner? And this recommendation is not for you to simply repeat the analysis you've already made on the option you pick, but instead offer weighted justification as to why that decision is better suited for the presented situation. So if you do not consider the other option when evaluating and offer that weight, you'll not maximise the marks. And I'll discuss this a little bit later. Now then you've got the 7-marker, and this still has AO3B for 3 marks, but it's an extended essay question and requires you to offer a balanced argument, which is applied first. So it includes AO2, which is application, AO3A, which is analysis, and this should then lead into your judgement. Now it is actually quite similar to the 3-mark recommend in terms of the 3 questions. So you have your 3 questions, which is analyse, analyse, recommend. Now that's kind of the similar structure to this 7-marker. So what you're going to need is you're going to analyse one angle, and that's going to be your first paragraph. Then the other angle, allowing that balance in your second paragraph, and then your 3rd paragraph is going to be your judgment. Now the 9-mark is the highest, and it includes every assessment objective, and it includes AO1A. So always start this question with a definition. Try to ensure you define what the examiner is focusing the question on. It also includes AO1B, which is understanding, but I'd hope in your essay you'd show that understanding anyway. And I think just making sure you use like key terminology can support with that. Now apart from that, it's quite similar structure to that of a 7-marker. So you've got your AO2, you've got your AO3A, and you've got your AO3B. However, how the question is phrased does differ. So in paper 1 is often a use data, meaning that you'll not achieve AO2 without relevant calculations to support the arguments. And then paper 2 has synoptic skills, which might include shareholder returns, it might link to different functional areas, it might be on risk and reward, or it might be on financial data. Now, the key skills to maximise your 3 marks for AO3B are the following. Signpost to the examiner that this is your evaluation and your decision. Do not sit on the fence and just make sure that you offer a clear choice. So one way of doing this is just simply to say, to evaluate, I believe, and give your decision. So for example, I believe that price skimming should be used. That'll help you get your first mark, but then you need to apply and offer weight. So my advice would be to consider the language you use, and I call it the more test. So have you used language which highlights why it'd be more beneficial than the other option? Example, it would provide a greater return than the other option, or it'd be more profitable than the other option. It wouldn't have as much risk as the other option. Always consider the other option, and of course that's not going to be enough. You then need to evaluate why that is the case. Now another way is to directly address it. So why would you reject the other option? So consider my example here. I believe they should use price skimming, and that's my signpost to in terms of the choice. I mean, I should have probably put to evaluate, I believe they should use price skimming. And then I put as it would generate more profit per margin than competitor pricing. So I'm starting to consider the other option. And then I've gone into, I reject competitor pricing as the company has much better customer service compared to competitors, already has the highest market share, and customers are requesting a new and unique service. So that's my application, so I'm applying it, and therefore that justifies a higher price than rivals.